Well, hello everybody, this is DearMamaSal and it's Saturday morning. And normally I'd be on my way to doing various things, but as some of you know, today I'm on my way to the memorial for my friend, which will be held tomorrow. I'm going about 4 hours, I guess, so you won't be traveling with me the whole way, obviously. Aren't you glad? It's going to take about, I think, 4 hours in total, and maybe less, because I'm actually stopping, probably 3.5 or 3, because I'm going to stop about an hour away from where I have to go, so that's all the drive I have tomorrow. But also it does make it a bit of a drive, which always is a good thing to get your mind in the right framework. I'm going to be probably called upon to do a eulogy. I normally am. And that is always amazing to me. Somebody, that Yvonne asked me this morning, don't you get tired of people doing that to you? And I said, well, not really. I said, you know, you've got to look at it as the compliment that it is. They want you to honor the person that they're saying goodbye to, and in a way that only I can, I guess. And so I take that as a huge compliment, that they would share that moment with me, or let me share it with them rather, which would be much more realistic. And so no, I don't see it as an imposition. I've been to quite a few funerals where I sat still, only to have somebody stand up and go, "Where's Sal?" You know, it's like, this is not complete until Sal's spoken. And it's really funny because it happens to me a lot at weddings as well. And so that's okay. We like that. So it's going to be a sort of fun day. Not a fun day, but I've tried to make it not a sad day today. I'm going to do some vlogging on the way. I'm going to take hopefully some pretty pictures along the way. I'm heading I'm probably heading first of all east to a town called Hope, for those of you who like to follow my journeys, H-O-P-E. And once I've left Hope, I will be heading for a town called Merritt, M-E-R-R-I-T-T. I think it's 2 T's. Might be one. I don't visit it very often, so I don't really know. And then tomorrow I will drive from Merritt to a place on the Kamloops lake called Savona, S-A-V-O-N-A. It's pronounced Savona, not Savona, as I thought. And that's where the memorial will be. And then after the memorial, I will drive back the 1-hour trip back to Merritt, sleep the night there, and then drive the last few hours back on Monday. And I'm hoping that that will just break it up enough so it doesn't seem like an arduous trip, and hopefully make some interesting vlogging on the way. I can't remember how much I can see or even want to see going up what we call the Coke, much to Becca's amusement. It's called the Coca-Cola, and I'm not going to even spell it for you. But if you want to study its route, it's marked 5 on most Google Maps, route number 5. And it is really just a shortcut up through, over the mountains. And right at the top, there's a toll booth. Like if you want to come down from the mountain, pay us money. Or very close to the top anyway. And I always think that's quite amusing. All right, you made it all the way up here. Now you want to go down the other side? Give us your money. Well, mind you, it might have changed since the last time I was there, but it always amused me that that was how it went. I haven't driven it for many, many years. In fact, I haven't driven it for 15 years, I would think, nearly. Because I drove it once while I had my previous motorhome. Oh, and by the way, you're probably wondering, why am I going up and not taking my trailer with me? The reason is because, as far as I know, I'm not going to be able to get hookup on the other end if I go to where we're going. And so from that perspective, I would rather not. Also, it's a long weekend here in Canada, which means a lot of other people will be traveling with their trailers and stuff. And I don't want to be doing that. And my third reason is, by the time you've worked out the gas consumption and the wear and tear on the trailer and on the Jeep, and hotels in that area being really cheap, I think it cost me less than $150 for 2 nights. So, you know, you got to think about it. It's going to use at least that in extra gas, probably. So I'm just going to let it be. Left the trailer at home. I also, as you know, don't have my stabilizer bars on it or my equalizer bars working properly, so why go through all of that? And also, you know, when you're going across a top of mountains and things, it's not a bad idea to have some protection against crosswinds. And I can tell you from many times of driving the trailer, when you have a crosswind, it hits the trailer big time. So I didn't want to be doing that. So that's the reason. Now, as you can hear, I still have a cold. And it's not going to be very pleasant sniffing and sneezing my way through a memorial service, but it's the best that I can do at the moment. So it's what I will do. And from my experience of being a speaker, it is funny how it's quite funny how your voice, you know, can compensate if you need it to. I probably will end up having to strain it to be able to be heard, but I don't have anything particularly interesting to say afterwards. So let me use up my voice doing that, because I cannot think of a better way of honoring the person I'm going to honor. And I've given a great deal of thought to what I might say. Well, that's not true. I've given some thought to what I am going to say, and I will give some more when I finish the vlog here. And the family has lost 2 family members in a very short space of time. And so for that reason alone, and I think it's 2 years now. I thought it was 1, but I've got a feeling it's 2. So to have lost 2 family, you know, a mother and a father, in such a short space of time is very difficult. And I know there are people that have lost their mother and father in a far shorter space of time. Some of you within days, some of you within months. But it's like, for this family that was very, very close, it must be very difficult. Now, the other thing is that part of the family is not quite estranged. I think they can still be polite to one another when they need to be. But it's a strain. And boy, I can relate to that. So I will not be busy telling them they need to make up, because how can I possibly say that? I will, however, be talking to them in terms of what I believe their mother and father, mostly their father, but then I will add in their mother, what I believe they would want me to say to the kids. And hopefully that will work. By the way, I will probably crack a joke or two about the deceased. I have a lot of jokes about him, and I don't have to make them up because they're real. And so I've always found that if you do it in good taste, people appreciate that, because they're so sad. For example, the person we're burying had some pretty colorful language when he wanted to. And he was also pretty judgmental when he wanted to be. And so I will probably tell a story and at the end of it say, and he thought that he was an absolute idiot. But the two words that he used were more descriptive or more creative than that, you know, and I know that everybody will laugh because he would have called them something totally different. And they will know what those two words are. So, but I was very honored to have met him at the time that I did, and I was very honored to have encouraged him to become a healer, because I really believed he had healing hands. And he did that very happily for many, many years. And I was actually saying on the broadcast last night, for those of you who weren't there, I thought I'd just repeat it here. I actually said that the sad thing was he allowed his judgment of people to get in the way of that. In other words, he kept healing people that he believed could help themselves. If they just believed what he believed, they could help themselves. And he was really quite angry about the fact that they kept being willing to pay him, but did nothing to help themselves. And I tried to explain to him that, you know, you have a rare gift. And he'd say, yes, Sal, but you taught me anybody can do this if they want to. And I said, well, anybody who believes will be able to do it. You know, who believes in their ability, who believes that it works, that believes, you know, they're capable. Yes, I can teach even non-believers, I guess, because I taught you, is what I said to him. And I said, but look how much studying you did. Look how much you understood. But I said, the truth is, all I did was I taught you how to feel. When I say feel, to be able to have your hands above somebody's body and to be able to feel the difference in temperature. And I said, that's what I taught you. And so it was so sad, because he got very, very upset with people and stopped doing it. And to me it was sad, because I believe they were some of his happiest days. However, that said, that was his choice, and I never ever talk to him about the choice he made. That was, that's very much an individual choice, what you do with your life. As you know, I'm a great believer in that. We choose what to do and what not to do. And so if that was his choice not to do it anymore, then who am I to guilt him out or make him feel bad about it? It's not my place. It's what he wanted to do. So I will talk a little bit about the good work he did in healing people. And I'll talk about the fact that he really was a giant teddy bear on some degrees, and he was a till of the hun on others. He could be scary. And yet such a nice person. So I'm hoping that I will do them proud. And I won't actually plot too much of the eulogy before I stand up, because I'm a great believer that I will see something or hear something just before I do it that will change how I approach this. However, I will practice some of what I've been talking about, so that if all else fails, that is the speech that I will give. And I used to do a lot of my writing of my speeches in the car when I was driving. And funny enough, doing exactly what I'm doing now, which is talking to myself. And the reason that I loved it was because it would then sort of get it into my brain. It would cement it there so that in a few hours I could pull it back again, and it would sound very conversational, and I wouldn't need to be carrying notes, and it would work. And so that's what I'm going to do for most of the trip up there. And then I will do it one more time on the trip tomorrow. And that is how you give a very natural sounding speech, because really that's what it is. You let go of the fact that you need to be perfect, and you go with what you know and let it flow. And from my humble experience, I have found that two things that audiences really enjoy. They really enjoy it when you're not carrying notes. They really enjoy it when you can improvise on a dime. You know what I mean? You can be heading in one direction and you suddenly turn around and start something in another one and go, hey, that was really interesting. Who put that in my head? And somebody will put up their hand and say, I was thinking that. And I go, okay, fine. They really like that. And of course, they really like it when it comes from the soul, not from a piece of paper. And most of us are so scared of screwing up when we have to talk in public that we forget to come from the heart. We want to make sure we give the best possible speech, when really the best possible speech is not what is needed. A heartfelt speech. Funny enough, more so for a memorial or a funeral than it is for a wedding. And that's strange, because you're going, gosh, that's the last time I will get to talk to them in public, sort of thing. That's okay. wow, they've really improved this intersection since I was last here. They're obviously about to widen the road. Very nice. I love this little property I'm passing here. It's actually not a little property, it's probably about a 5-acre place, and it's got a boarding kennel, but what it's also got is a beautiful pond in the garden. And that's always so pretty. And this particular one has ducks on it right now, so it looked really cute. Alright peeps, I'm going to talk to you when I get to the first stop and pick up some food, because I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm going to drink my coffee and enjoy the next part of my trip. I've now been traveling for probably about 20 minutes, and I've probably got another hour to go before the first stop. Bye-bye for now. Well, hi everyone. I just getting close to Hope, and I wanted to show you that really it's very flat here. And then, as you can see, we're starting to get a mountainous region going, so, and some traffic apparently. So the time now is, I've been traveling for about an hour, and I am pleased to see that there are lots of clouds, but it doesn't look like it's raining. But as we hit this mountainous region, I'm pretty sure it probably will be, which is why I'm wearing warmer clothes actually. I hope it's not blistering hot this weekend, otherwise I'm going to fry. I didn't bring the right clothes for that. Alright, I'll chat to you soon.